Hey guys, what's happening? Johnny Glock here. I went to my YouTube channel this morning just to look around, and I realized I haven't posted anything for 3 months, and now I apologize. I really like to keep content coming. It's just been that I've been so incredibly busy. And by the way, thank you. Any of you guys, and I have a lot of new subscribers to this. I have a lot of new people on Instagram, a lot of people, it's a common thing I hear, like, hey, I just kind of ran into you, or a guy at the range had your trigger and it was amazing, and all that kind of stuff. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the support, how much I appreciate the business. And with that said, there's every morning I walk into the shop, I'm like, oh, shoot a video today. But by the time I get into it, it's hard to get that rolling. But partially because I just mounted this new, if you would see it, it's so ghetto. It's like one of those gripper camera things, and I have it like drywall nailed with screw gun right into the wall. So basically I'm trying to make it simple as possible for me to get these out. So I have a setup right up here where I can just move it around, and it's going to drop down to the guns that I'm working on. But okay, so first of all, here's what's going on. If you've been following me, I'm using Overwatch shoes now as my go-to in-stock polymer flat base shoe. The flat base shoes are working out incredible. I can't say enough about them. They're awesome. And I did say there's a video coming up on that. That's one of those, intention. I had the intention to do that, and it is coming up because it is a pretty good video, because it's going to show you the different modifications that I do to the shoe and the bar and all that kind of stuff to give those of you that are interested in possibly buying the trigger a little bit more information for your purchase. And that is up and coming, and I promise it will be here shortly. This is actually the shoe right here. Inside, this is a combat model right here inside one of my guns, and as you can see, there's just a little bit of take up right there, stout, but then from there, snap. You can see it's pretty much dead stop, and then resetting quickly. So that's the setup of that combat shoe. The setup is basically, okay, so you have my competition and you have my combat, and I do those both. One is one particular feel for ADC, for self-defense, and the other one is completely for competition. You are not going to want to use this gun as a carry gun. It's safe to holster and and run whatever you call them, your drills, and not drills but stages, and you can throw the thing off the wall all day long. All you get is a sore arm. I know you guys have heard that analogy before, but yeah. So we'll go over that. Next is something I'm pretty excited about. I'm going to make let's put it this way. On my channel, I have stuff from last 5 or 6 years or whatever. It's all disseminated. It's all over the place. You can find things, but you kind of gotta. I got like 80 videos, I think, when I counted them, when I downloaded them after the YouTube scare, and I decided to, I want to put these into a cohesive sort of, program to use for education, and for teaching, and to pass on some of my skills in a more cohesive way. So basically, I'm going to do a digital download, and what this is going to be, it's going to be shot in high def. I found a gentleman that I'm working with, and there's going to be a couple different camera angles, and you're going to be seeing things. It won't be my camera work, so it'll be quite different. And we're going to start with like safety and function, because these are things you have to know, and a lot of it is going to be guided toward the checks and balances of when you're doing trigger work, or when you're working on the functionality of a gun, just so you know what to look for when you're doing a modification. So a stock Glock is one thing. When you modify a Glock to an enhanced level, it's a whole different ball game, and you have to know the checks and balances while you're working on it, and it's going to, just for safety, number one, and number two, it's going to save you a lot of headaches down the line. So that's how it's going to go down. There are going to be some very advanced segments of this, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do, because it is very very specific knowledge, and with this medium, anyone can get their hands on it. And so with that said, I might have some type of, might have to test out, or you might have to be actually a Glock armor to get the you know, these nitty gritty things, which are, like I said, you have to have a skill set to, you have to have a particular skill set to be able to do them to begin with. And they're pretty tasty, but like I said, we'll go through that. So if you have purchased like the safety and the function and like whatever trigger 101 or 102, whatever I'm going to do it, you know, more than likely I'll let you flow with the more advanced, very advanced stuff, such like changing the pivot points, radiusing, re-radiusing, how to manipulate, you know, the metal, how to heat treat a striker, things like that. So it's going to be, you know, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be pretty cool. So next, you know, I finally found an assistant. He's great. He's 19 years old. His name's Jonathan, which is kind of funny. It's like Jonathan Glock, Johnny Glock. I'll have a email for him and all that kind of stuff. And what we've found out is, you know, he does a lot of stuff that, you know, I can't do, like polishing and just the stuff that, I don't want to say it's not important, you understand what I'm saying, because it's very, very, very important that these bars are polished to the level that they are. Because someone asked on one of the videos, like, does that mean that we're going to get a trigger not made by Johnny? And that's not the case. Everything on the bench is mine. All the parts are built by me. Everything that is honed. I have a really hard time giving up the reins, man. I was just telling my wife that the other day. So, but what we have found out is that Jonathan has an unbelievable skill for grip work. And so, there's a company called Shark Coast Tactical here in Sarasota. If you look them up on Instagram, they're just killing it with laser stippling. I don't have a gift for stippling. I can do it. Yeah, that's why I kind of made that funny video about the executive texture. But you know, part of stippling is grip work. So basically, that grip has to be modified a certain way, and it has to be you know, enhanced that where it's going to make sense. Like function. Like my game's always been function. So if it's not functional, I'm not messing with it. Nowadays in the Glock game, there's lots of you know, things that are really, really cool looking, but does that necessarily mean that they are enhancing your shooting? And are they actually going to get you, are they going to compromise the gun, or are they going to complement it and make it better? And the actual reason for this video today is I'm going to show you like a straight up $3,000 competition gun that I've done a lot of work on. And you would think for $3,000 you would have a masterpiece, man. It would be, you know, Michelangelo in your hand, Picasso. And a lot of times, even on that genre of things, that's not the case. A lot of times what you see is a lot of guys that are doing some Cerakoting, or they're doing slide cuts and all that kind of stuff, or they're subbing it out or whatever. It's the same thing with triggers. They're just made. If you don't have your hands on them, you know, and you're not doing a lot of this stuff in-house, like I'll mention someone like Loki Tactical. This guy's all about customer service. You know, we're good friends. He's in it to win it in a different way. Okay, so he's hands-on. Him and his partner Ryan are like, they're just, and if you've seen any of their stuff, and I've had it on some of my videos, and I know this. Same thing with Rick from GCP, who's up the street here in Venice. Like, these are guys that I associate with. Frank from Shooters Tactical. You know, these are guys that are they've been doing it for a while. It is a complete and total passion, and they know all the checks and balances, and so they're not going to bake a fucking channel liner inside a gun. They're going to check for certain margins. They're going to make sure stuff is taped off and done right. And not to mention, the work is quality and it's freaking top notch. You're not going to find anything better. So that's kind of like, you know, the for better or for worse where the Glock world is. So it's almost buyer beware to an extent. And you know, a lot of people are spending a lot of money. I can't tell you. I got 3 guns coming in this week that have already spent like $2,000, $2,500 on guns, and they need work. They need functional work. So, with that said, I'm going to drop the camera down. I want to show you this first aspect, like why I had mentioned Jonathan and what's going on here, and how now I kind of have a little bit of breath to do some other things. And like I said, he has really shown as far as you know, working on the gun grips and stuff like that. So I'm going to bring this down. You guys are going to hopefully like this, and hopefully my new mount is is going to work out here. I had some notes actually I ran off of. So yeah, check that out. Pretty cool, huh? So, well, here's, anyway. So here we go. Look at, I mean, these are beautiful, man. Look at that. So you have GCP slide cuts. Shark Coast Tactical also does slide cuts. I'm working with them on some stuff. You know, like I said, I use Loki Tactical. Some of the grip work I've done before. Like I said, Frank was Shootist. We use some Dave mods, stuff like that. But just look, you know what I mean? And the thing with this is, like I said, the grip work is a big part of it. If I would get a stock Glock, and I would show you how this is designed right here, you don't have a lot of room there, and you're not going to be able to get as high on the bore axis. Okay, sorry about that. I know this gun isn't loaded, but I better show you guys just so I don't catch any gruff. And it actually is a gun safety. See, there's no magazines in here, and these guns are all clear. So, but you know, I like staring at these things, man. Look at them; they're just fucking incredible. So everything from, you know, RMR cuts to slide cuts. I don't have one of Loki's slides on this. You know, this is a performance enhanced slide that I've put together, like, because I'm all about the shooting. But now we can incorporate all this functional stuff with all this super cool aesthetic stuff as well. And I mean, like, look at that with the comp. It's like a Terminator gun everyone's talking about, you know. And it's got my, these all have the Johnny Glock's triggers. They're all performance enhanced with functionality, and you know, we have a variation of the colors, and you can, like I said, once again, the undercut, like, see how this is opened up here, so you can really get your hand underneath there, because that's a big part of indexing and being higher on the bore axis for, you know, for mitigating recoil and just for muscle memory. So these are all going to be available on the website. We have a couple different patterns. There's a couple patterns right here, but it's like about 5 different patterns. And you know, we'll use the C class, I think it's C, Cerakote. And that's another thing, Shark Coast Tactical is doing the Cerakote on these as well, and they have really upped their game. Lori and Will over there, they're just laser ninjas, man. And so basically, you know, I use people that are in it to win it. So basically, just wanted to show you this. And since I can focus more on the trigger work now, and I have Jonathan around, it gives me more time to kind of put this stuff together and be able to offer what I know is going to be absolutely quality function and incredible aesthetics all in the same wrap up. So just want to show you that. I'm going to slide these out of the way here, and we're going to get to you know, kind of what the video is about today. And I'm really winging it today because I just had it enough. I really had to get something out here for you guys because I was feeling kind of guilty. But okay, this is a straight up race competition gun. This is a, after mags and it's all said and done, is basically a $3,100 gun easily. And actually, here's Jonathan here. Come on over here. I'm just doing an impromptu. He was out eating lunch, so come on in. This is John. You gotta. This dude's so tall. You gotta bend down so you can get into the camera. Yeah. So there we go. So this is Jonathan Glock. Like I said, I can't. You know, I'm super duper happy that I got him. He's killing it. You saw the grip work that he's doing there. So you know, he's part of the Johnny Glock family of 2. Anyway. All right, Jonathan, beat it. Anyway, all right. So here we go. You would think, the ghost camera. You would think when you know, spend you know, $2,600, $3,100 on a gun like this, that it is going to run like a Swiss watch. It is going to race and run and not stop and just crush it. And unfortunately for this consumer and for a lot of others that go for these high-end race guns, it's just not the case. Now this one, you might have seen one of the other video when I was in Johnstown and I was doing, I mean, 12,000 people I think at this point have seen the video where I was tightening the slide with a ball peen hammer, and everyone has something to say about that. But like I said, that's part of the safety and function video that I'm going to do. Like, if you know where to stop and how much to do and what not to do while you're doing these types of modifications, then you're okay. At this point now, like I was at Joe's house, so I was basically using that hammer just to show you that anyone can do it if they take their time and in that nature. Basically here I have brass shims, and we just squeeze those on, or sometimes we hit them to get them to exactly where we want. So yeah, granted, what I have here in the shop is a lot more precise than what is, what was in the video, but the point is, carry gun, would I ever do that? No, I wouldn't. Competition gun where it needs to be nuts to butts? Absolutely. So, if look at the standard Glock, it's a 17, you're maybe talking dealer costs, in the $400 range. And, to justify, I don't pay attention to how much these Seymours are. It's not my game. I just fix them all. Not this part. I just fix all this part. So, when I get them, you got I think Carver made it, or maybe it is all SJC components here. So you have the SJC comp, you have the magwell, big heavy magwell, you know what I mean? Which, with a gun like this, if some slide weight was taken out, I could see it even performing even better. Especially because a lot of the rounds, a lot of the loads you have to use with this much gas diversion, you can only run so much stuff, even with like a 10 or 11 pound spring in here. And that's another thing, that we're going to go over in the digital download is timing. Because these guns are built on very, very specific timing, and everyone wants to start messing with their recoil assemblies, and they start changing those weights without knowing what they're doing. And all of a sudden the gun starts diving differently, or it has more flip, and they don't even know what that is to begin with. Some shooters do, but it's almost like there's no recipe. There's recipes for this, but it's not hard, and like a hard line in like drawing. You have to know the variations of what you can do with certain, like you got 115, you got 124, you got 147, you have 158. You have people making competition rounds that have that are powdered lower power factors and stuff like that. So I'm having conversation with these guys about what they're shooting, what they have had luck with, and what actually blows the slide back. So the initial thing was saying, like, this gun's awesome. If I was going to build this gun, I would take some metal away from here. One thing they do here, you can see if you guys would just look at this and know Glocks, the way they look, they lower the ejection port just for better patterning and some other things. One problem he was having was with ejection, and I know with this in particular, they had a proprietary steel spring-loaded bearing, and then there's some screws through here to tweak it. That's, I don't like finicky guns, you know what I mean? So I really don't mess with a lot of this stuff. Even like the strike, the titanium striker. The titanium firing pin plunger. Like, I'm just not, it's not necessary. So I like to keep it as stock as possible, because I don't want a finicky gun. I don't want my customers to have a finicky gun. I want the damn thing to run, even if it is sub 2 pounds. So there was problem with ejection, there was problem with light strikes, there was problem with accuracy, and there wasn't any problems with mag drops or anything like that. But I mean, this gun was pretty much all over the place, and justify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aftermarket sort of things. I guess the Seymour itself is has a price tag to it, but regardless, 3100 with 5 mags, this fucking thing better be dead on when you take it out of the box, in my opinion. So, the way I fixed it was I put the stuff that belongs back in the gun. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff was a no-brainer. There's a titanium striker that I was messing with. I even took this off my website. I'm just not a fan. I just don't like the way they feel when they break. I don't think the math stands up. I know they're moving faster. I was going to do a video on that, but I don't think they have the inertia to break a lot of the primers. If you get an extended striker pin, all day long, I'll endorse it. A nice steel striker with an extended tip, you can start dropping those striker weights, those striker spring weights lower and be okay. And you're not gonna have to worry about light strikes, because that's another thing, that's a finicky Glock. Who wants light strikes? And a lot of times, if you go on to shoot, you'll see these guys shooting these, $3,000, $5,000, 2011s and stuff like that. And after every stage, they're messing with them. They take a lot of maintenance. And I for one, I'm under the, I believe, like, you don't get a Glock so you can maintain it. You get a Glock so you can run living shit out of it, and it's going to run like a Swiss watch. So this does have a KKM barrel. That's, I don't know if he had to do, I couldn't see any marks on there that absolutely had to be fitted, so it was pretty much drop in from what I could see on it. And I did put the striker, the firing pin that I use with my competition kit, because I know that it works awesome with the Glock OEM striker. I did all the work to the firing pin lug to get that to be super duper, like 20,000 grits. And then just basically, build them a trigger that works, and then took care of the, a lot of this stuff, like I said, it will take care of itself by using OEM parts. And, what you're going to use as an ammunition is going to have a lot to do with how you're going to, time your gun. Because honestly, when this gun was coming forward like this, it was going into lockup, but because the extractor was so tight, it was actually hitting the casing and not coming fully into lockup. So instead of wrapping around the casing to grab it and eject it, it was not doing that, and it was causing a feed function and ejection function. There's all kind of failure to feed, failure to eject things going on, light strikes. Okay, so, and this is an interesting trigger build. So if I was to see someone that had a trigger like this, and a lot of you Glock guys that follow my videos might see this, this thing is so damn far back, there is no way it is safe. If you see where this trigger is sitting, granted, if I pull on either side, it's still, the trigger safety tab is still functioning, but there is not a chance in hell that that is sitting on the shelf. And that's usually when you've been doing this long enough, you can spot those things. And when I would spot those things, I would tell people about it in a direct message or whatever, like, hey man, you're way too far back, there's no way that's safe. And so, which is the case, but there's a modification that I do to handle that. So I just wanted to show you the action of this, because this is exactly what he was looking for. Now, all of you have to know, even sitting this far back with a Glock to stay safe, you're going to have some movement. Now, this is a very smooth trigger, as you can see, but with that first shot, when you draw, when you unholster and you come up, there's going to be movement to that first break. That's just, you can see it almost did that there, but actually the comp, I had the, that's not fair. Oh no, you can see, same thing. So, it's just, that's how weak that